Well, hey guys, it's me, Dr. Clifford Stemmy, CEO, founder, College Hacked, and Dr. Lauren Daly, our chief academic person and advising person. We wanted to just do kind of a chill, informal videos, kind of like an extra, and tell you a little bit about the origin story of College Hacked, our friendship, and just kind of everything that we do here on the channel. I think a lot of people... you might see Lauren in Q&A videos or in some of the YouTube shorts that we've put together, or some other videos, but not everybody knows all the things that she does. And so I kind of wanted to take just a little kind of conversational, chill, laid back time and, really explain how she fits into everything and how, College Hack came to be. And, just so we can all sort of learn together. So
I like it.
Lauren, who are you?
Yes. Well, first of all, you know that I am in my low-key mode because I'm sitting Indian style. That's how my...
So relaxed.
I needed some way to... We were talking about how we should have mugs of coffee or something earlier.
Something.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just have blank desks. I'm a person. I am... I don't know. Do we say like our age and our like...
Where'd you come from? Or yeah.
I grew up in San Diego, which is why I'm a weather snob to this day. So I spent 8 years living in Lynchburg, Virginia, where Liberty's at, where Cliff and I met, and there are real winters there. There's snow, and I'll never forget the first time I went out there and I had a winter. I called my mom and I was like, what is going on? It's so cold. Like, what am I supposed to do? And she said, Lauren, you have to buy a whole wardrobe for each season. And I was dumbfounded. I had never thought about it. I'd never seen snow until I was 18. I don't like cold. I don't have great circulation in my hands and feet, so it's not fun for me to be in the cold most of the time. But so anyways, once I could move back to the West after I was done with school and just done with the Liberty chapter, I moved out to Vegas and just love it here now.
And you were homeschooled, right?
Yes, I was. Good point. Homeschooled till high school.
There you go. Yeah. And I was homeschooled K through 12 as well. Around age 14, started hacking college credits using mostly CLEP exams.
Nice.
I think, and then you went to Liberty for your undergraduate degree.
Yeah,
and you hacked it in a sense because you went with a Chipotle degree.
Yeah.
Because you had been doing pre-med or what was the story there? Like, how did you end up graduated with your bachelor's?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to go to medical school from high school, the time of high school. That was my goal. And so in pursuing that endeavor, I was trying to do it as inexpensively as possible. And at the time, my mom ironically worked for DeVry University. And so I was able to do some of my general education there for free. And so once I finished that, I knew that wasn't where I was going to graduate. I needed some residential sciences. They don't offer things like that. And so I got scholarship to Liberty for being on a singing team, and that paid for the rest of my degree there. And so it made sense to take my transfer credit and create an interdisciplinary studies Chipotle type degree, and then just pick the classes that I needed for medical school admissions. So biologies with lab, chemistry, physics, all of those things.
And that was back, you graduated from INDS when the INDS program at Liberty was really small,
Super
like 50
small.
students or something.
Yeah, they were like, are you sure you want to do this? They're like, you're trying to go to medical school. Because at the time, nobody had really, not that no one had done that, but that was not a clear defined thing that was okay to do.
Yeah, it was mysterious. So few people did it, right?
It was. They were like, that's risky. Everybody usually does biology or pre-med or whatever those majors are to go that direction. So yeah, it worked out really, really well for me. I'm glad that I did it.
And did you take any CLEP tests or any AP credits or anything like that?
I did. I had AP English and biology.
Okay, so a little bit of traditional hacking there, and some Chipotle degree hacking, getting your degree paid for with scholarships. Like, it's scrappy. I love it. That's
very
awesome.
Scrappy. Yeah.
And then you ended up with a master's at Liberty in
biomedical sciences. Yeah, that was residential. That was tough.
I bet.
It was amazing. It was one of my favorite experiences in life, which is one of the reasons we often talk about residential master's degrees, because Cliff has a similar story.
Yeah. And we'll get to that in a second too. And you were a graduate student assistant during that time, so you got the school paid for you.
I did.
Yeah, again, scrappy. Working while taking classes at the same time, making it happen.
Yeah.
And then after that, you became an advisor at Liberty.
I did. Okay. Yeah. Right after my undergrad degree, I worked in advising for almost a full 2 years at Liberty, and that taught me so much and helps me all the time with clients now. That's where a lot of my foundational knowledge comes from. They did a really good job. So I credit them for that. And then after I was an advisor, I went to my grad program. I actually kept that job while in grad school for a while, slept about 4 hours a night for 6 months, and then had to quit that job. But after my master's degree, that's when I started doing academic advising on campus for the pre-med students.
Okay, gotcha. There you go. So to kind of like we're coming up to the point where we meet, right? For me, while you're doing all of that, I'm going through Thomas Edison. I hacked it. 102 credits transferred through hacking credits to Thomas Edison University. Little award there.
Little nod to that.
And then, pretty quick after that, went to Liberty. I went and did a grad program in English, residentially, and I was a graduate student assistant as well, and was able to pay for most of my school that way.
Nice.
So we're both coming
Scrappy.
up to this point, and now it's time to get a job. I got a job as an administrative assistant right out for the Writing Center. I eventually became the director of the Writing Center. You're an advisor. I'm the director of the Writing Center. So we're both, in student services focused stuff. We're both in the same college at this point. And they signed us up for some kind of initiative, or like there was some task they gave us to do. What? It was you, me, and another advisor. I thought it was
Michael,
Elizabeth.
Oh, we did have Elizabeth. Yeah, you're right.
What was the job? It was like a cross-departmental initiative.
Interdisciplinary department. Yes.
What
we thought
were we supposed to do?
So they were doing a great thing by making us all feel like there was a way we could make changes if we were unhappy about things. So they put together this like consortium of employees who were constantly basically coming to them saying, we could do better at this, or we could make these changes.
Yeah.
They were like, why don't you put together like a whole exhaustive proposal about the things that you want to do?
About something. Do you remember what our proposal was?
I don't. I remember it was good though, and it made total sense to us. And we were like, thought it was a shoo-in, and they were like, we'll consider this. And
it was like some kind of employee experience thing. I remember you snuck us.
You know what it was?
What?
It was evals, employee evaluations.
Okay.
Remember? Because we did them once a year, and there were like these rules, like you can't get a 5 because then we have to give you a pay raise, and we don't want that. So we were like, well, then why don't we just do evals differently? And we were trying to create a different
We were trying to create a different way for our college to do employee evaluation, so it actually means something and not be insulting every single time. That did not happen.
That was deep.
Our proposal did not get approved.
It did not, but it was fun, and it brought us together.
We had a lot of fun, and I think we both left that project having some mutual respect for each other. And like, okay, that person kind of cuts to the chase and gets the work done.
I left thinking, wow, Cliff's a great 38-year-old man with a professional career. He was like 20-something at the time. I thought he was older than me. He's younger than me.
Yeah, just by a little bit, but yeah. So then we kind of go on our merry way, and eventually the director of the Interdisciplinary Studies Department quits.
Yes.
And they're scrambling to find somebody to replace her.
You didn't know this story?
No.
Oh, she tapped me so long before she left.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she was like, I'm going to be leaving. You should take over the department. Like, she was wonderful. And I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe. What do you do on a day-to-day? She's like, fight with all the faculty and the deans. And I was like, what if I put the plans together? Like, what if I did that? Which is funny because that's what we do now. But so I had known she was leaving for a while.
So I get the email that's sent out to the whole college the month before she leaves, like, hey, she's got one more month. We're going to look for somebody new. And I ran up the stairs to the dean's office and I was like, I want this job.
I love it.
This is amazing. And the reason for that is I didn't know there was a job for college hackers. That's basically what INDS was.
Totally.
Is as the director, you're putting together degree plans that help students in non-traditional situations graduate quickly and inexpensively, help them pull things together. It was like building degree plans for people, which I loved doing and I still love doing. I'm doing it right now. And I was like, oh, that sounds amazing. It's like leadership. It's a faculty position. All this really cool stuff. So I ran up there and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll consider you. Are you sure you're serious about this, you punk? And I was like, yeah, dude, let's go. So they interviewed me, and I found out later that they had offered the job to you. They had offered the job to another guy. And then they had waited to see if anybody else would apply. And then they called me into the office, and they're like, all right, Cliff, we've thought about it long and hard. We think you're the best candidate for this job.
And you were. They were right.
I was the only candidate for that job.
But you were also the best.
Yeah, little did they know. I felt like I had been, training for this job my whole life. And they're like, oh, yeah, and we've already picked out your assistant director. It's Lauren Daly. I was like, oh, I know Lauren. That's awesome. And I think they secretly wanted you to keep an eye on me. They definitely trusted you more than me. I love all those people so much. Some of my best job experiences were from that college and working with those guys. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but we were growing steadily every year. We never advertised. It was all word of mouth, and we just helped people. We did our very best to help people. We'd have a lot of students come in who were like, hey, I'm switching my major because I realized I don't like music, and I need some business classes because I want to make money or whatever. And we'd be like, all right, we'll help you put together a custom degree. And we would often try to funnel people and say, hey, what's your end goal? A lot of the things you hear us saying here on College Hacked are phrases or principles
That are
or
10 years
concept
old.
we coined in the trenches advising INDS for
Yeah.
these students. And we learned so much about policy, so much about how schools work
Yeah.
internally. I learned so much. Lauren already knew a lot of this stuff.
I learned a lot.
And we had a great time doing it. And it was kind of us against the world in some cases, because
Totally.
we would have faculty from other departments get mad at us. They'd be like,
All the time.
oh, there was this great story. I won't say what college it was.
Good idea.
But they were like, hey, one of our professors told students they needed to hit these requirements to graduate their degree. And one student raised their hand and was like, if you just switch to interdisciplinary studies, can't you just skip those and still take music classes? And the professor was like, how many of the rest of you guys are thinking about switching to interdisciplinary studies? And almost the entire class raised their hand.
We got a heated email after
And the
that
dean
one.
was so mad. He sent us this passive aggressive like articles about how interdisciplinary studies was no good and all this stuff. And I went with my dean to the meeting. Lauren got to stay back at our office.
Thank goodness I'd have blown the whole thing up.
And we just sat there and listened to him say snide things about the department for so long. Like, people would get really mad because they thought we were stealing their students. We never advertised. We never did anything. We were just trying to help people graduate. And it's so much better for somebody to graduate with some classes in this college than it is for them to drop out. Oh, it was wild. It was
Yeah.
difficult. We had a lot of people who were on our side, though. People who were like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I have a student who would be great in your department.
Yeah.
They've lost interest in this and they want to do something else, or they want something that we don't offer. Like
Those are so
we
cool.
would create like custom plans.
Yes,
Like if somebody
we'd say, what could they take from your department that would make sense if someone were coming to just get an overview and maybe it's a little bit deeper than a minor, because a minor tends to be 15 credit hours. A lot of our kids were having 30 credit hour areas of study. So we were like, we need a little more than the minor. What else could they take that would be
Yeah.
exciting that you would agree with?
What about your medical illustrator student?
Oh, that was so cool.
That was awesome. Tell
yeah,
about
we had a
that.
student, and this happened a lot, where we had students come into our department. They just wander haphazardly into our little like waiting room area and be like, I think I'm interested in this, but I also don't really understand it, but here's what I want to do. And we had one that wanted to be a medical illustrator. And at the time, there were some majors that existed for that at other schools, but very rare major. That's not usually something you see offered because it's such a niche thing. And so, she came in and said, is that a thing? Can I do that? And we said, totally. Let's do graphic design. Let's do arts classes for one area of study. And then we can do the medical education, health sciences area for the other. So anatomy and physiology, genetics, the things that you would want to be illustrating.
And that student left that meeting and that got that degree more prepared to be a medical illustrator than anybody else at the entire school.
Yeah, for sure.
Just
Customized.
That was what we were always trying to do, is we were trying to help people be the best prepared by using stuff from all around the school to be able to have all the knowledge they needed to be really good at the thing they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And some departments
cool.
understood that, some did not. But we tried to help everybody. We even tried to push students back to other departments too. Be
Yeah,
like,
if
Are
it
you sure
made
you
sense.
want to do this?
Yeah. And that's it. Really, those two things butting heads are the elite academics who don't want to water down what they praise as a wonderful study that they're passionate about.
Yep.
They really want everybody to be able to have that experience that they have with it, and that's a beautiful thing. But that's hitting up against pragmatism, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you just need a degree, or you need something that makes more sense than the whole elitist experience.
And it's the same kind of thing we face today. Like, we get tons of
100%.
comments on the YouTube channel like, are you sure this is legit?
You're ruining college.
I've had people say this is no good. And, it comes down to the results don't lie. It comes down to we do what we need to do to survive in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And, nobody's trying to cheat the college system. Nobody's trying to get rid of learning.
Yeah.
But we recognize that the system is flawed and is not designed to help students reach their end goals. And so our goal is to help you reach your goal. And
Yeah.
that's what we did from the beginning and what we're continuing to do now.
Yeah, exactly.
But then travesty struck. Tragedy.
Tragedy.
Me
leaving?
Lauren, yeah. You gotta... Lauren is the queen
so
of
nice.
getting jobs. Like, she just tweaks her LinkedIn like every night, and people just message her randomly being like, hey, do you want to apply for this job? We'd really like to have you. So you were applying for a bunch of jobs. You're getting asked to apply for a bunch of jobs.
Yes, it was a juncture where it made sense in my life because I had finished all of my residential requirements for the PhD, and so I was ready to be just dissertation phase, which can be done remotely. I had picked my committee already, and so I had a good enough plan and foundation that I felt like I could leave the state. And as I said earlier, my goal was always to get back to the West Coast-ish because I don't like winter. So, so I told Cliff one day, hey, I got a job in Las Vegas at a medical school. I'm going to work on curriculum because I said earlier I wanted to go to medical school, and then I started teaching as a graduate student assistant in my Master's of Biomedical Sciences. I taught residential nursing students for a couple of years, and I just realized during that experience how messed up medical education was, and I got really passionate about making that system better for the students that have to go through it, because our doctors, PAs, nurses all sacrifice so much of their lives, so much time and money to serve us ultimately at the end of the day, and so I don't think it's fair that the system is rigged against them in many ways. But anyway, so I got really passionate about that. So right about that time, I got accepted to 2 of the 3 medical schools that I had applied to, but I realized I don't even want to go to these schools as a student. I don't want to be a medical doctor. I want to be a PhD, and I want to work on curriculum for medical schools. So I ended up starting my PhD in education at Liberty instead. So when I got to the dissertation phase after the classes were over, then I moved to Las Vegas.
Yeah. So you moved to Las Vegas for this job. And then, I kept working for Liberty, but I was applying for jobs all over the place. I really wanted to run an online program and to be able to replicate the success of interdisciplinary studies. I wanted to design curriculum and policies and things like that. And nobody wanted to hire me. I don't know what it was, but it might have been the lack of experience. My charmingly young-looking face, or who knows what. But I was just kind of... I wanted to be somewhere else, and so I started a YouTube channel doing song lyrics or explaining them and trying to find new ways to explore. And I started College Hacked. There were a lot of different iterations. I did a lot of different versions ever since I was like 15. I've made at least some money helping people figure out how to earn non-traditional credits, and it never really clicked. There were always problems. There were always obstacles. And around like early or late 2020 into early 2021, I made some videos on YouTube after having learned a lot from my other channel, and they actually started doing pretty well. But then I got a new opportunity that I was not expecting. And was able to secure a contract with a large delivery company out in Las Vegas, of all places.
I'm so stoked.
Which was wild, and ended up moving here in 2021. Yeah. Once that business was stabilized and on its feet, I started working on College Hacked again. A lot of people started signing up for consultations, and I was like, there's only one person in the world who I trust more than myself. This is not an exaggeration. More than myself, to be able to handle these consultations and to advise, these super valuable audience members and clients. And Lauren was there, and I think you had just quit, or you were in between jobs or something.
This is fun because when you first moved to Vegas, it was 2020?
2021.
Yeah. Okay. So COVID had happened. I was working at that medical school, and then COVID happened and everything went online, and medical education should never be online, especially when it wasn't intended to be at the start of the year. Yeah. And so all of these elderly, professors, super smart in their fields, but just not equipped with the technology. My job really became teaching them technology. And I was just like, this is not what I came here for and not what you hired me for. And, I get that we're in a crisis situation, but so I decided to take a step back from medical education, kind of wait out the COVID thing and then come back and try again. Actually,
you did boot camps for a while too.
Yeah.
You were doing career coaching, resumes.
You're right. I almost forgot about that. Yeah, I worked for a tech boot camp for a while doing career services. And
she was getting tons of people jobs. Like they graduate from the tech boot camp the same way you graduate from WGU. And then it was her job to place people in positions and help them find jobs.
Yeah.
She's really good at it.
That was helpful for the tech exposure too, because prior to that, I didn't really know a whole lot about any of the technologies or, what recruiters look for and that kind of stuff. So that does help me now with clients a lot.
Yeah. And so then I reached out to her, and we started kind of working on a part-time basis. And then thankfully more of you guys kept watching and kept signing up for consultations. And now Lauren helps with a ton of consultations every week. She works with a lot of our clients.
Yeah.
She does an amazing job, and you're doing our email newsletter.
Yeah.
You're doing our shorts on YouTube. You're doing our LinkedIn presence.
Yeah.
And at this point, we're just kind of scrapping our way through, and we're playing it dirty, and we're getting it done business wise.
Yeah.
Not credit wise.
Yeah, not credit wise. All is legal.
And making it happen. So yeah, we're excited to see. I'm excited to see where all of this takes us next and what next steps look like.
Yeah.
We've actually been working on launching a education benefits providing company where we would go to businesses and say, hey, we'll help you manage your benefits for your company, your employees that have to do with education. That's something that Lauren's really passionate about, that I'm
Yeah.
really passionate about.
Imagine if you went to get tuition reimbursement from your company and they were like, we're going to have you talk to these people so that you can get done in like 1 year instead of 4 years. Like, how
Yeah.
cool would that be? If you're, right now I feel like people go to their benefits coordinator and they're like, so what's the paperwork for getting some reimbursement? And it's kind of just this draggy process. A part of what hacking brings is the ability to see the end, the finish line. And
Yeah.
that is so powerful, I think.
Yeah, and we're really excited to bring that to the company level. It'll save companies a lot of money.
Yeah.
It'll improve retention rates. We've got a bunch of great stats to try to convince people. But at the end of the day,
Just
I
want to
think
help more people.
We just want to help even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just launched a Spanish version of the YouTube channel, College Hacked en Español. I'm not going to say that the translation is perfect all of the time, but it is pretty good. We have a great guy working on that. And so hopefully we'll be able to support more Spanish-speaking clients too.
Yeah, definitely trying
So
to branch out and help more people.
We're trying to figure out ways to help high school students. That's a big passion of ours. I would love,
Totally.
like, one of our big goals is we want, just in America, this is a dream goal that we can't really impact, but we're trying
Yeah.
anyway. We want it to be normal for students in their junior and senior year to have to grapple with the question of how much will I hack? We want it just to be normal for people to ask that question.
Yes.
And to say, am I going to try to hack a semester, a year, 2 years, or am I going to try to hack the maximum? And if we got to the point as a educational ecosystem where the answer was on average, like, yeah, I'm going to hack my first year of undergrad with some CLEP tests, 10 CLEP tests that I'm going to take throughout high school, man, I would feel so accomplished. Like that is a big dream and goal. So we're trying to figure out how to do that too.
Yeah, that's a little bit of impact on a lot of people's lives. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that's the widespread debt relief there is very exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't even have to be forgiven.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You don't need some politician to come out and tell you that you don't have to pay the money that you said you would pay. We'll just help you solve the problem in the first place. So,
Yes. Amen.
President, if you want some ideas on how to solve the student debt crisis,
Here we are.
that's what we've got, guys. Anything else, Lauren?
No, I think this was very fun. Tell us if you want us to do more fireside chats like this.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being part of this community. Something I will point out, this is the story of how Lauren and I have worked together to do all the cool things that we've done. Oh, and as another accomplishment, 400 clients last year with
Yeah.
$17.2 million saved across those 400 clients.
So awesome.
So that, wow, for that to come out of our friendship and our partnership has been super awesome.
So cool.
Super awesome. The other part of that is you guys, because you watching these videos, you signing up as clients, you telling other people. It's not about helping us even. It's about just getting the word out there so that we can create large-scale social change. We're happy to be the lightning rod for that, but it doesn't work without you. And there's this storyline where Cliff and Lauren are doing their thing, and they meet up and they start working together. And there's where you meet up. You start
Your
watching the channel. You
storyline,
start being part of it. And we're excited to be part of your story too.
Totally.
And,
I love that.
yeah.
It's such an honor to be a small part of anybody's story and help you move forward in your life goals. That really, I think more than anything, is what we're really passionate about.
Yeah. Whether it's watching a video, doing a consultation, a newsletter,
Yeah.
whatever, just good vibes coming off of us.
Yeah.
We're happy to help however we can. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy hack.